Significant initiatives update. I'll hand that over to Ms Lambert to take us through.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. This is the paper that comes to you on a reasonably regular basis, just really reporting on some of the milestones and achievements on projects that may not otherwise filter through in the normal process of annual plan progress reports. So I'm actually going to take it as read. I've asked Mr Maxwell to come down to answer any questions, as a number of them are related to his projects, but happy to take questions on these, and we'll try and provide the answers.
Well, that's pretty straightforward. Councillor Gilbertson.
Irrelevant, but the stock exclusion thing is in Plan Change 6 is creating consternation out there in the valleys.
Yes.
Is there some way of clarifying? Is there going to be some more work done on it to actually clarify what's exclusion and what's meant by that, and what 15 degrees is? Is there going to be sort of a little how-to pamphlet or simplified guide to how to exclude stock?
The land management, if you look at page 22 of the agenda, and at the top of the page under the heading Land Management, one of the their key focuses for the next several years as part of their operational plan is around the implementation of the Tukituk plan change policy. Now, at the moment we're assuming that rule as it's being publicly notified will carry through to be the final version. So we can't be 100% certain, obviously, until the decision's issued, but certainly it's the intent of the land management team to get the information out there, to assist people to how to be able to implement that particular rule and provide information and guidance to them.
Thank you. That's good.
Mr Chairman, I do have a few questions, but there's an empty chair over there. Can we wait till...
Well, he's on his way. Councillor Rose?
Yeah, just dealing with the... Will it go out on the in the July accounts, or how's that information going to go out?
If Councillor Rose wouldn't mind, I'd prefer that Mr Maxwell answer that when he gets here. But certainly my understanding from the Water Initiatives Officer, Mr Ferguson, in charge of that, is that there's been direct communication with the majority, or with the consent holders to whom this would apply.
A one-to-one basis, then?
Look, that's my understanding. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's even better.
Any questions?
Mr Chairman, can I just suggest we leave this to lie on the table till Mr Maxwell is here, because all the questions I have relate to him.
He's a famous bloke. I think you might be right. Perhaps we just park this just for now. Let's move on to the annual plan. Mr Drury is here. The 12-13 update for 11 months to 31st of May.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Chairman. Manton Collings, Mr Collings will take you through the 11 months update, which I'm sure it's good news.
Right, good morning. So we've got the update for 11 months till, 1 month remaining till the end of the year, and this will include the carry forwards and obviously the reforecasting which we've done in previous months to bring this into line to where we think we will be. Overall, we are sitting pretty much on budget. Pro rata, obviously, over the 11 months is 92%. And we're sitting there as a net funding requirement of about 90%. So from broad summary, all the groups of activities are on target, and there's a couple of outliers there which I'll go through, but we'll foresee that by the end of the year that we should be pretty much on budget to where we assumed after those carry forwards were agreed. So I'll just go through a couple of those. One which is a little bit under at the moment is strategic planning. There's been quite a few invoices that have come through HBRC for obviously the RWS project, which have a portion of tuk-tuk plan change attached to them. So there's going to be some reallocation of that during this end of year period, where we can charge those back to the tuk-tuk plan change projects, which will bring those back in line with budget. So we're just getting those all together now, which should happen very shortly. And if you've got any questions on any of those other groups of activities as we go, let me know and we can stop and cover those. Otherwise, probably the other outlier is in the emergency management group of activity, and that is split up into two components. We've got obviously the Civil Defence Emergency Management Group, which is at the moment a little bit underspent on their budget. The majority of this is to do with they had an exercise plan for this year, which has now been deferred till next year, just due to aligning that with other North Island regions, and so they have underspent their personnel budget, I guess, as far as other staff of council are involved. We put in their budget a number from, I guess, other groups of, so exec time and finance time and everyone involved with those projects, which hasn't been used this year but will be used when that kicks in next year. So that is probably the only outliers, unless there's any questions that you'd like to.
Might be able to comment on clause 11. You've got transport shows the net expenditure of 184% of reforecast. Could you just give me the background behind
Sure.
those?
So basically, what we're showing here, the net expenditure is the expenses versus where the income's at. At the moment, the expenses are on budget to where they should be, but the income is always in arrears from NZTA. So they are waiting. They've still got 2 months' worth of income to come from NZTA, which will come in, and then that percentage will drop down to nearer the 100% to where we should be. So it's more of a timing thing than anything else.
Timing rather than over.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Councillor Douglas.
Chairman, could I ask on, are you dealing with the schedules as well, the attachments?
Yes.
Okay. Can I go to attachment 1, page 31, accounts receivable? So I always look at first.
Uh-huh.
They seem to have gone up $1 million year on year.
Accounts receivable. Right, sorry, there we are. Yes, that's what it looks like. There is a proportion of that which is owed from HBRC for internal time and those feasibility costs that were established before they started paying their own bills. So there's a portion of that which will come out this month when they repay that.
We're not planning to take them to court.
Well, no.
It's all right.
It's a, yeah.
However, rates arrears are up about 150,000. Is that a concern? That's roughly 25% increase? Or am I reading that wrong?
What we have at the moment with our receivables is a little bit of confusion with HeatSmart. Obviously, people coming in during the year into HeatSmart, they start paying their loan back on a monthly basis. So we actually got quite a bit of a credit balance coming into our rates. So I've tried to split that out down there where it's got that payments in advance figure of 680. That is a figure for those loans that are coming in. So we're receiving payments. So it's coming into the rates all at once because that's how we have to bill it. But it's actually an overpayment of rates, if you will.
But if I interpreted that correctly, then your rate arrears is remarkably small. I mean, I can't actually work out what the hell's going on in that, to be quite honest.
Okay.
It doesn't make... I hear your explanation, just doesn't make sense, though. That's all in terms of how the numbers look.
Sure.
Sorry? Oh, I missed that. It's just, I mean, I always like to know where we are. I mean, are you satisfied that year on year we're about where we were last year, or are we better or worse? So I guess that's a better question.
Sure. I think we're slightly worse off in that. So there's two figures there. The current year rates were sitting at about 680, and arrears previous years was 530. Compare that to a year ago, we've got that basically 800. So we're slightly over there from where we are. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. What? Sorry.
The councillor, you'll notice the line there, payment in advance, which Mr. Collins has indicated refers to HeatSmart. A year ago, we haven't got the comparable figure for that, so it would be less than 680. It was probably say 350. So I think all in all, we are holding our line with rates. I don't think people are not paying their rates as compared to a year ago. Thank you.
Councillor Gilbertson.
I apologise for that terrible attempt at a joke I'm desperately embarrassed about. Two questions. What's an impaired receivable? Is that what used to be called a bad debt, or is that something completely different?
Yes. Yeah.
Question, Mr. Chairman. The port was valued at 170 million, roughly, something. And then we revalued the breakwater. So someone's probably explained this. Why is the port now not worth 177 plus the cost of the breakwater, the capital value of the new breakwater, which was 60 or 70 or 50 or 40?
Numbers, you correct me if I'm wrong, Manton. I think the port went from 120 valuation to 170. 120 to 170.
But after that, then the breakwater was revalued.
No, I think the breakwater was part of the 170. Yeah.
You sure?
Also, there wasn't. Okay. So the value of the port is looked on by way of cash flows generated. That's how the valuation's done.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 170 was based on future profitability.
So where does the revaluation of the breakwater turn up? Where does that come in the balance sheet?
Goes in there and knocks back the goodwill value.
Yeah. I mean, the 170 is this council's investment, the value of this council's investment in the port. The book value in the port is another figure completely, which will include the breakwater, and that's all consolidated into the accounts. But that's not here.
Other questions, Councillor Scott?
Thank you. Page 31, Mr. Chairman, attachment 1, the governance and community leadership figure 630, is that the solar water provision?
Yes. 630 is the figure. Yes, you're right. Yes, sorry. We have reforecasted that out to zero this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if I may have a second one on page 37, the regional reserves, the regional council disaster reserve, which is at 3.3 million, we expect to see that knocked right back in the new financial year. Is that right?
It's definitely been, yeah.
There's to be a withdrawal of 700,000 for the macro. That withdrawal, I haven't got the timing from Mr. Adey, but it's a few months away. It's at least 6 months away. But yes, you're quite right, Councillor, will be knocked back to the extent of the 700 drawdown.
But that won't occur until the next financial year?
It won't occur until next financial year.
Other questions, Councillor Remerswell?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Page 31. Will the 630,000 for the solar hot water, will that be carried over to the following year?
Council has agreed as part of the annual plan to continue to make provision for that.
Yeah, thank you. Secondly, just in regards to Councillor Douglas's point earlier about where we are with the rates, how easy it is actually for council to know if there was a trend against people paying their rates? How would that be picked up very easily, given that there's a little bit of confusion with the Heat Smart program?
Oh, Councillor, I mean, what you've got on page 31 is just totals, but yes, we can. We run comprehensive analyses of aged debtors for rates and all other debtors, so the information is available.
So you would know straight away if there was a trend?
Yes, we would. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Any other questions? Councillor Rose, you have a question?
Yeah.
Councillor Gilbertson is ready to move at some stage.
Yeah, I won't be long. Mr. Jury, I couldn't find it in here, but it's not to say that it's not there. Is there any information, or is there any trends on the payment or non-payment rates from multi-ownership Maori land? Is that dealt with at this level? So I think last year we ended up to about $75,000 wasn't paid in rates.
Yeah, Councillor, we do have the information. It's not on here. It's in those totals.
Are you able to advise council of what the current non-payments are running at?
I'd have to research it and bring it back.
Yeah, at some appropriate time.
Okay. Councillor Scott.
Page 28, Mr. Chairman, on the cost appeals, consent appeals. The Mixted one, which is an ongoing one, and none of those costs presumably are recoverable.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the vast majority of those are not recoverable because they're appeal costs.
Yeah, so when are we actually going to call enough and say Environment Court decision, end of problem? Or High Court decision,
in terms
end
of
problem?
pushing them into a decision-making process?
Yeah.
Well, a number of them are still, like, for example, Twyford Roperi, there's still very good progress there with the Irrigator Group, as an example, towards getting an outcome without
I'm not concerned about that one, Mr. Chairman, because they've withdrawn the appeal. I'm concerned with those appeals that are going on and on and on with the cost just continuing to the ratepayer.
Yes, completely agree. A good example of that, Mixted and Williams. So we've basically put them into a position where we've said some final caucusing of experts to get agreement, or they pursue it or abandon it, basically. So we've put them in a position of making a yes or no decision.
Okay, so we have reached that point of saying
and we're not
end of the road.
investing any further in that and trying to get an outcome other than through the court.
Two more quick questions. On page 29, paragraphs 28 and 29, the Healthy Home project, 2.6 million there, it's seen as an infrastructure asset. How is that? Because I presume they're sitting in other people's homes. That's my first question.
Oh, that's referring to the loan balance for Heat Smart. So you've got amounts owed by the homeowner, offset by loans that we have raised. So the homeowner asset. Yeah.
So you've just balanced the balance sheet.
Yeah. Okay.
The second one is the intangible assets. I presume that should the dam actually occur, the intangible assets will crystallise as a real asset. Correct. And the converse as well.
Well, the intangible assets there have decreased because, of course, we've transferred the cost over to HBRC. So, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Gilbertson.
I'll move the report be received, Mr.
You happy to
Chairman.
move? We have a seconder for that. Councillor Rose, wish to speak? Councillor Gilbertson.
Thank the staff for a very good report, and I just would like to see receivables being bad debts, but that's modern progress. No, it's a good report and it makes things pretty comprehensible for us. Thank you.
Other speakers? Put that motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried.